Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me in this live stream. All right, so I wanted to jump on here super fast and talk about the next 36 days or so, what's going to be happening, what we need to watch for, and what I'm already seeing in the headlines as of right now. And this happens every year. So there's a situation that happens right here, right now, over the coming weeks here. This is going to be popping up a lot. I've already seen it in the headlines a couple times here. Just want to talk about it super fast here in this short live stream. For those of you here in the community that receive any type of fixed income benefit, and again, fill in the blank with whatever benefit, it literally doesn't matter. Social Security, all benefits administered by Social Security, all the benefits I talk about here on the channel, there's a lot of them. When I say Social Security, literally any type of benefit, just fill in the blank with whatever you receive, okay? Anyway, every single year, I mean, I've been talking about this stuff for a very long, well, I shouldn't say a very long time. I've been talking about this content for like 5.5, 6 years or whatever. So quite a while, right? Almost 6,000 videos talking about this stuff. And I see this every single year, okay? Questions that come in on this, the headlines that pop up around this, I see it every single year. I don't think this year is going to be any different around that. So again, I just want to clarify really quickly here, because again, I know for a fact, I will see it down below in the comment section. I've already seen it in the headlines a few times here. Just want to talk about it here in this quick live stream. All right, so anyway, when it comes down to time of year, so obviously here we are as I host this live stream right here, right now. We're in the very end of August. There's only a few days left of August as I host this live stream, which seems really weird, right? September is just a few days away. So anyway, with that being said, very busy time of year. September's also very busy time of year, right? With a lot of different things happening. Now, remember this much as well. September is the last month of the fiscal year for the federal government, okay? And again, to you and me, that doesn't really matter a whole lot. For the most part, who cares? It does not matter that much. Except there are some different things that happen and need to be done in the month of September before they turn over, the calendar to October, I should say. All of us do, okay? But as a result of that, they have to do a bunch of different things before the end of the fiscal year or the beginning of the new fiscal year for the federal government. And again, some of that pertains to our monthly benefits, things like that. Anyway, so here's what I see out there in the headlines. And again, if you watch the headlines over the next, 3-4 weeks or so, basically anytime between now and October, which is what, 5 weeks, give or take a little bit, between now and October, you're probably going to see this out there. We're going to see it a bunch. The headlines say something along the lines of, if there's a government shutdown, are we going to see delayed checks or something like that, right? I mean, it happens every single year. This year will be no exception to the rule. Why? Because every single year, lawmakers come in, they sit on their hands forever, or actually more like they go on vacation, just like they're doing right now. They're still on vacation. They go on about a 5-week vacation from early August until about mid-September. They go on vacation about 5 weeks per year. They're still on vacation now. Anyway, point being is that they come back in September and then they say, we have all this stuff to do right here. And then they try to rush through it and they get nothing done. And I guess I feel like, why were you on vacation if you have work to do? I mean, you know what I mean? That's not my philosophy in life. You don't work. I mean, you don't get to play until you finish your work. I say that to Corey all the time, right? Anyway, Corey's my wife, by the way. Many of you here in the community know her. But my point being is that that's just my philosophy on life. But obviously lawmakers don't do that. They say, let's play first and then maybe let's do some work later. I say you only get to play after you finish your work. I don't know. That's just what I do. Point being is that they're going to come back in September. They're going to rush the clock. They're not going to have enough time to get all of their work done and the new 2026 federal budget done before the end of the 2025 fiscal year, which is when it needs to be done at the end of September to be in place for October 1st, which is the new fiscal year. Point being is that since they won't do that every single year, this year will be no exception to the rule. They talk about a government shutdown. Oh, they're going to shut it down. It's going to be this party's fault. It's going to be this person's fault. They point the finger all over the place. Who cares whose fault it is? It's all of their faults because they didn't do anything. It's not specific to party. I mean, I'm not here to make a political video. I'm just simply saying it's the fact, right? They sit here and act like it's everybody else's fault, but really it's their fault because they're the ones that have to do this. Point being, when we see these headlines out there that say delayed checks, if they don't come together on a budget, Social Security beneficiaries, seniors won't see their checks. And I'm here to say false. That's not true. Why? The reason I say that is they have a fiduciary responsibility, they have the responsibility as fixed income beneficiaries to continue paying you regardless of what happens. I say this much: shut it down all you want. Who cares? You're still going to get paid. Okay. You might not get your mail for like 3 days. Who cares? It's all junk anyway. Right. But anyway, point being is that you're still going to get paid. So when you see all these headlines out there, and again, maybe you've already seen some, I've seen a few, not a ton yet, but we will over the next 4 to 5 weeks or so. You're going to see this out in the headlines all over the place. Delayed checks. We're not going to get paid. Watch out, seniors. Watch out, people with disabilities. Watch out, Social Security. We're not going to get paid because lawmakers are doing nothing. They're sitting on their duff all day. And that's true. Yep, for sure. That's true. But just because they're doing that, couch potatoes, right? They're sitting on their couch being a bunch of couch potatoes, whatever they're doing. Point being is that they can do that. Not a fan, but they can do that. Point being is that whether they shut the government down or keep it open, you're still going to get paid. They have to. It's the law. They must continue to pay this. Here's the deal. There's a few different things that they must continue to pay on regardless of what happens. A government shutdown, they must continue to fund defense. They must continue to fund and pay Social Security and all benefits administered by Social Security. Okay, so in a government shutdown, again, that's why I said earlier, who cares? Shut it down all you want. Doesn't matter. It's not going to affect our payments at all. They're still going to send those payments out. Even in the situation of a default, right? We've heard about this several times over the last several years. This doesn't come up each year, but it does come up every, year and a half or 2 years or so. It comes up, and we actually just dealt with this a few months ago, which is, the default. We're going to default on our debt. No, we're not. We've never defaulted on our debt, and they're not going to allow us to default on our debt because it would destroy this country and our credit rating more so than what's happened lately, right? So it'd be really bad. It would be really, really bad if we defaulted on our debt in this country. Point being is that, as I've talked about over the last couple of years here, as we've faced a potential default situation, it's not going to happen. But if we were to do that, still wouldn't matter. The law would still suggest that they must continue to pay beneficiaries in the event of a government shutdown or a default of any kind. Okay. So again, as I host this live stream right here, right now on Monday, August 25th. Yeah, August 25th. I don't know, what is it, 5 p.m.-ish when I started this live stream, I think, 5 p.m. East Coast time, roughly, give or take a little bit. Again, I have people asking me that all the time. Hey, is this really live? Yeah, it's really live right here, right now. Maybe you're watching the replay, but if not, here you go. Here's a timestamp, a date stamp. Monday, August 25th, roughly 5-ish p.m. East Coast time is about when I started this live stream, give or take a few minutes, okay? But anyway, as I host this live stream right now, it's out there in the headlines a little bit as far as this whole, oh my, get ready, everybody. We're going to have a shutdown, and that's going to delay payments. And I say, no, it's not. It has no impact whatsoever. And again, the reason I want to mention this now is because I've seen it in the headlines. I want to point this out for you now so that you're armed with this information so that over the next 4 to 5 weeks, when you see this out there, I'm not having people frantically reach out to me by email, which is okay. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying feel free to if you want to. But every single year, inevitably, every single year, I see the same thing happen. People frantically reach out to me the end of September in the comment section on videos, by email, things like this, and say, I heard we're going to have delayed payments. I'm not going to get my SSI. I'm not going to get my SSDI. I need this to survive and to pay my bills and to get my medications and to get food and stuff like this. And I always respond basically the same way, saying, don't worry about it. You're going to get paid. Don't worry about it. Okay. You're good. You're fine. Nothing's going to happen whatsoever. They're not going to delay payments whatsoever, regardless of what happens. They have this obligation. They must continue to pay. They have to, right? They have to continue doing that. In the event of a government shutdown, there may be some services that are limited. Again, who cares? Does it really affect our lives all that much? I don't really think so, right? At the end of the day, your money still rolls in. It'll have no impact. Now, here's one thing that I do want to point out super fast to be 100% fair about this. If we were to go into a government shutdown, don't think we will. The reason that I say that is they do the same thing every single year. I'll just say it really quick. They come in last day of September, like within minutes or hours of a potential shutdown, or even after the deadline. That's happened a few times recently as well, where they're supposed to be done and the president doesn't sign it for like 6 hours later. That's happened a few times. So it literally like shuts down for like 5 hours. Happened just last year. It did. Anyway, point being is that as we approach this, okay, what they're likely going to do, they do this every single year, is they're going to come together and have a short-term extension. They call it a CR, continuing resolution, or stopgap bill. Basically the same thing, but what it says is basically we're going to continue funding at the same pace for the previous fiscal year out until we come together on a long-term agreement. So what they've been doing. Typically, what they have done the last few years here is generally they push it out sometime into about mid-November or mid-December. So what they've been doing, and then they come back and they push it out again until early March. That's what they've done the last 2 years. It's nuts. So we're literally 6 months into the fiscal year by the time they're figuring out the full fiscal year. And the fiscal year's half over by then, right? It's nuts. So anyway, that's what I project them to do. Who knows what they're going to do? But all I say is, again, don't worry about your monthly benefit. It'll continue to roll in. And again, just want to preface this really quickly and just come back super fast in this video here, in this live stream, and just reassure you, you're good. Okay. Your benefits will continue to come out. You've got nothing to worry about in the event of a delay. But again, why do they say this? Why do the headlines continue to come out and say things like, oh, seniors, they're not going to get paid. Uh-oh, Social Security, they're not getting their checks this month, stuff like that. Why do they make these claims? Well, it certainly gets a lot of people excited, gets a lot of people all worked up and jacked up all over the place, right? Certainly does, but it certainly doesn't help anybody, right? So anyway, so I want to come back super fast and break this all down for you. Oh, by the way, I was going to say something else. I got off on another little rant there. Okay, I'll say this super fast here, which is, in the event of a government shutdown, don't think that we're going to, in the event of a government shutdown in about 5-ish weeks, or I should say 36 days. Yeah, in 36 days, if consistent with the title, by the way, if we happen to go into a government shutdown, if the government shutdown is potentially prolonged, as in prolonged being like 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, something like that, we could potentially see a disruption to SNAP benefits, food stamps, EBT deposits. In that case, it would have to be a prolonged government shutdown. In that case, again, a month or more, I would say. Well, actually, probably more than that even. Probably like 2 months in order to be see any kind of delay. I wouldn't anticipate that. But in the event of a long-term shutdown, which is not going to happen, but if it does for some very weird reason, then we could possibly see a delay to SNAP benefits, food stamps, EBT deposits. Again, I would not worry about that. Please do not lose sleep over that. Do not worry about that whatsoever. I'm just being fair and saying in the event of that, we could possibly see SNAP benefits disrupted, but that's also not going to happen. But when it comes down to your Social Security, any benefits administered by Social Security, including VA and RRB benefits, you're fine. Shut it down all you want. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Not happening, right? Just not going to affect your money. Anyway, just want to give you this little bit of a reassurance. Again, I get these comments all the time, every single year, and this year is going to be no different than any others. I see this every single year, this time of year when it comes around, especially as we approach the middle of September. Without fail, the headlines come out. I get the comments rolling in. I get the emails rolling in. People that are scared. And I just want you to know, nothing to be scared about. I'm going to say this much. There's a whole lot of other things we should be way more scared about than a potential delay to our checks. I'm just going to say that much. There's a lot of other big things out there that could mess our lives up way worse than a potential delay to checks. I'm just saying that much, okay? Let's watch some of these other bigger items, and I'll certainly keep you posted on that, all right? All right, anyway, hope this helps. Just want to point this out for you really quickly. Yeah, let's just see what happens here. Super interesting time of year. I've said this for so long now. Generally around, August, September-ish time through about the first couple months of the following year is always a very, very busy time for fixed income beneficiaries. All right, anyway, I'm going to have my wife, Corey, come in here in just a second. She'll be coming in soon. She's going to help me out with this. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining me. Hope you're having a nice week so far. All right, anyway, as always, if you need any help with Medicare, phone number's right there. You know what to do. I don't need to tell you anymore. By the way, after you talk to them, leave a comment down below. I'd love to give you a shout out like I've been doing with so many people recently. And tell me how much money you save from them. Share the number as well. Tell me who you shared it with.